Welcome to Scars to Stars, where conversations and personal stories let us know we are not alone. In this show, you will meet authors and speakers from our books and events as they share vulnerable personal stories to spread hope and inspire you through adversities in your own life. The world is a difficult place. You will find like-minded people here with kind hearts and supportive souls. I am your host, Dina Brown Mitchell. I am a suicide survivor and the founder of the Realize Foundation. I am so glad you are here. Let's dig into this meaningful conversation. Hi, everybody. It's Dina at the Realize Foundation, and I have a special guest for you, and her name is Olivia Cook, and I'm so excited for this conversation. So welcome, Olivia.
Thank you. It is such an honor to be here today.
Oh, for me too. I've been wanting to have this conversation for a while with you. So I'm going to let you tell everybody a little about yourself and the topic we're going to talk about. And then I'll be right back and we'll talk about some questions and deeper stuff. How about that?
I love it. Because I don't do surface level conversations.
I'm with you.
All right. Well, I'm Olivia Cook. I am a mother and of two little boys. I've got a 10-month-old and a 3-year-old. My husband's in the Air Force. We've been married for 10 years. And I am a restaurant manager. I have about 100 team members at my restaurant. And I hold two positions in People for People. The first is the Southeastern Territory Super Mentor. So I'm over like a population that encompasses about 85 million people population wise, but I've just got a small team. We're starting up, we're building. And I'm also the executive marketing director for People for People. So I'm a little busy. People would consider me a workaholic. I do not consider myself a workaholic at all. I actually consider myself to be a very purpose-driven individual. And while I'm a purpose-driven individual, I still struggle with so many of life's adversities. It's been a constant battle of just doing the things that I know that I need to do to get where I need to go and to show up in the best light. And recently, because you're constantly going to be dealing with battles on this journey of life. There's no getting out of dealing with problems, but how you handle them and what you do to grow through them and learn along the process is what really matters. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today is how you grow through what you go through. Last week was a very character building week, as Les Brown would say. And it was one of those situations where I got to write in my book the chapter on smear campaigns and character assassinations. So I got that one ticked off, right? And I realized that no matter what happens in my life, like there's always going to be somebody out there that doesn't like me. And the more you shine, the more your light is bright, the more you're going to have opposition. The closer you get to the goals that you have in your life, the more you're going to have resistance. And I really want to talk today about how to push into the pressure, push past the resistance, even when you don't feel like it, because it can be extremely hard. And it's very isolating too. The more you advance in life, when you don't lean on vices, when you don't resort to what other people do, and when you no longer allow for yourself to be under a live like the rest of the world. That's what I'm going to say. Live like the rest of the world. And you don't want to become like the evil that you fight so hard against. You don't let things take you out of character. You establish and you keep that character. So, what are those things that you need to do to ensure that you're not going to be knocked out when you're pushed down? Because life will knock you out, but what do you do? Do you get back up or do you stay down? And what I want to talk about is how you get back up, because it is lonely. It is very, very difficult to do life at a higher level where so many people will just tell you, oh, why don't you just quit? Why don't you just, why are you putting yourself through so much stress? Like, if that's not an option for you and you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, no, that's really not an option for me, this is for you. What are the things that you absolutely have to do to ensure your optimal mental health? Are you spending time with God or a higher power? Are you meditating? Are you being present in the moment? Are you spending time outside? And are you getting your physical exercise? What's your level of endorphins and serotonin? What are those hormones that are chemical imbalances? Where are you at in that sense when you're under attack? Because life is going to life regardless. How do you handle it? And the relationships in your life, how are you taking care of those relationships? Um, that's really what I'm wanting to talk about most today, is how we handle the situations.
Yeah, I love your energy about this. um, I want to ask you because you mentioned Les Brown. Did you
Mhm.
write? What book did you write in?
I'm actually currently working on two books.
Okay.
Um, my book that I'm doing is like my long term, like the next 4 years that I'm going to publish it. It's um, the cheat code to a massively successful life is the
Awesome.
book that I'm working on. The other one is the heart method. That is the methodology I teach as far as um, leadership.
I like that. I asked because I wrote a chapter in the Change series, and Les Brown is on the cover with me.
Oh,
Because
that's so
that's how they do that book. But Jim Britt and Jim Lutz published that, and so that was a fun project. Um, but no, I want to talk more about what you said about, you know, what do you do to keep your mental health in a healthy place? And I think it's really easy for us to be in a dark place and just withdraw and want to be alone and, like, let that rumination fester when there's other things we can do to get ourselves out of that space.
yeah. So my number one thing, because I don't like to bother people with my problems, I forced myself to talk to the people in my life and I asked for prayer.
Hmm.
Um, and then because that was, once you know better, you need to do better. Like that, like that's the level that you have to graduate to. Um, and so when the time actually comes, you've got this whole toolbox that you've made up. You're listening to podcasts, you're into self development.
Hmm.
You know what you're supposed to do. When you don't feel like doing it, do it anyway, because the version of you that gets to where you want to go, they need you when to show up when you're on your worst day. That has to be the standard. So your community, your people, the people that, and it's not a whole bunch of people. I really reached out to 4 people. That was, and for
Hmm.
me, I'm such an extrovert. I like to reach out to a lot of people. I can talk to a lot of people, but 4 people is what I chose to reach out to. 2 of which really were the best that I should reach out to. But there's
Yeah. But I think also, you know, reaching out and asking for prayer is awesome, but just telling another person what you're dealing with is a big deal. And I think the reason the suicide rates are so high, and it's literally every 42 seconds, somebody in our world dies by suicide. And my theory is that most of those people don't feel like they can raise their hand or ask for help or tell somebody how they're feeling because they don't think people care or understand. So my question in my head right now for you is, when you have a team of 100 team members in the restaurant industry, which I've worked several years in that industry myself, is, how do you keep them motivated, or help somebody that you see is maybe having a hard time?
Being a listening ear, always being that person that they can come to when times are hard, because
Hmm.
they do really come to me when,
Hmm.
uh, but they know that they can. They know that there's not going to be judgment. There's not going to be, you know,
Hmm.
I, and a lot of times I help them through that process. The restaurant industry managers are oftentimes their therapist. You know,
Yes. We're all things to all people usually, um, because we have to be. Yeah, I've opened several restaurants in my life, and it's been a while since I've done that, but it's an all-encompassing thing. I spend a lot of years in hotels too, and it's like you're just on 24/7. It doesn't matter that you have a life outside of your job. The hospitality industry takes over, and especially being a mom with two young boys and a family, and you know, it's a lot. It's a lot, especially in management, because you're just expected to stay when you need to. You're just expected to do all those things. And it's really hard to have boundaries.
yes. I want to go back. I want to go back to what you said about being on all the time.
Mhm.
I'm too busy to pretend to be anything that I'm not. So, in order to be on all the time, I have to be that version of myself.
Mhm.
I don't get the chance to do something else. Now, yes, I'm different for my team and the guest. Like when I go through, and I'm on the floor and I'm
Mhm.
just, but being the person that believes in servant leadership, being the person that has a true relationship with God, that is not an act. That is genuinely what I've had to embody because I'm entirely too busy to put on to mask and put on that I'm somebody else. Like it's just easier to just be myself.
Mhm.
So many people will be like, "Oh, how do you do this? How do you do this?" And I'm telling the truth. I mean, like, if you need help in an area, um, like for instance, I was postpartum and I went back to work and I realized, oh my goodness, I'm going to need ADHD medicine. And I'm not taking a stimulant, I'm taking a non stimulant. But because my brain works so fast and my anxiety will get so out of control, then I needed something to help me
Mhm.
not be chronically stressed out. You know what I mean? And there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with getting help for those things. Um,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are afraid to ask for help, but that and also like the other things that you can do, going outside and being out in nature,
Mhm.
practicing gratitude. Gratitude is one of the best ways to change your state
Mhm.
because you cannot be upset and grateful at the same time.
Hi there, it's Dina. If you like our podcast and you're enjoying learning about other people's stories of overcoming adversity, please go over to therealizefoundation.org and support us by donating. We believe that conversations, community, and personal story can change lives and reduce suicide ideation. And we also have a way, if you have a business, you can support us without money out of your pocket. So go on over to realizefoundation.org and look at the donate page, and you can learn how to support us as a business, and also you can donate any amount. Thank you so much. And I think when I said on, I meant like in front of guests and team members, not necessarily a different person, but I think it's, there's this, sometimes you just need time alone or time to, like you said, get in nature or prayer or whatever it is that helps you get through those days. So, most people in the restaurant and hospitality industry, when they want a break, they just go outside to smoke, right? And I never smoked. And I was like, why am I always doing everybody's side work? Because they're either drinking coffee or smoking, and I don't do either. But anyway, I wanted to also talk to you, have you talk a little bit about the struggles as a leader, because when you have that many team members and you're responsible for, financials and sales and all the things that come with that, it's a lot on us as leaders. And how do we manage that and still be the leader, without, some leaders are very open about problems. And I think there's good and bad in that, because you want your team to understand what's going on, but you also want to shield them from certain things because they're trying to do their job and their responsibilities, and they don't need to carry some of the things that we carry as leaders. And so I would love to hear your comments about that.
I don't really shield things from my team members. I just try to run the business, like there's different systems in place. I understand the numbers behind it. I do like to show team members, hey, this is the labor that we're at right now. This is the amount of comps. These are the current numbers that we're at right now. This is when I need to make cuts. This is, and when team members are upset about hours and stuff like that. I wouldn't say that I necessarily shield them from things. I'm pretty upfront about things, but are you saying like personal issues that I might have? Like, how do I not like share those?
Well, I think I meant, maybe I didn't say it right. I wanted to talk about how you feel as a leader when you have things that are weighing on your mind that cause stress for you. And maybe it's stuff that you don't really share with, employees. And how do you handle that personally?
I compartmentalize. And I'm saying that because I learned that from a podcast guest that I had years ago. She was the vice president of global marketing for Google. And we were talking about how to have a good divorce. And she said to flex her compartmentalization muscle. There we go. Now I can talk. And so when I'm at work, like I deal with like serious stuff. I really also don't let a lot of things stress me out. But last week, I will say that I was very bothered by the situation that I was dealing with. And I just stayed quiet. I did my job. I took care of the guest. I took care of my team. But I was just quiet for that time. But most case scenarios, I let things go very easily. I've done a lot of mental work to be extremely mentally tough and resilient. And last week was just an opportunity to flex that muscle a little bit more, and understand that I can't carry things that I'm not meant to carry. A lot of times I'll carry things as an oldest child of younger siblings. And I've always taken on things that I didn't necessarily, it wasn't my responsibility to do. And I've learned now that it's okay for me to just let what happens. there's times in the restaurant where I've had to stop. There recently, this woman she pulled out a gun on somebody, and I had to get her out of the restaurant. The guy goes outside, gets his gun. I had to calm him down, get him out, like make sure that wasn't so. Like I deal with very high stress situations, like
Mhm.
like very like could be life or death situations, and I do those a lot better than I do minor inconveniences. Those are the things I have to work on because I get annoyed with minor inconveniences. But the way my ADHD works, I'm great in a high stress situation. I am the one you want on your shift for that.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I to answer your question, I use my compartmentalization muscle. I let things go, and I push into the pressure, and I keep going.
Is there something that, is there some point in your life where you figured that out? Like that you didn't understand that before? I know you said that lady talked about specific muscle to compartmentalize things, but was there something else that helped you understand um, how to manage your emotions better as a leader?
Um, I've been working on my leadership style for the past over 10 years. And I really, I've read a lot of books. I couldn't say it was like one specific thing, but I've read a lot of books. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I've, I got into grad school. I'm going for social work and I'm focusing on leadership so I can add political consulting onto my consulting business. So, yeah, it's a lot, it's a accumulation of a lot of things, but understanding that those that are the loudest are not always the ones that are heard, and knowing how to control my emotions is a huge power. That and not matching energy. I learned that not matching energy was a big thing a long time ago. Like you'll still see those t-shirts of people saying like, "Oh, I match energy." That is so emotionally immature. Like, no, I don't do that. It's okay. Um, so yeah, it's been a process for years.
Yeah, I can relate to being a restaurant manager and then a manager in hotels and then having my own business, and all of it was in hospitality. And it's like, how do you um it's a very, the environment of that is very community driven and like camaraderie kind of thing, and you become friends with people, and sometimes you feel like this is my family, and sometimes people just share things that maybe they don't need to share, and then it kind of makes things hard or weird. And how do you like deal with that as a leader when there's team members that aren't agreeing on something, like like what you're saying, there's tension in different ways
Hmm.
because you have all these people working together who are different people.
Yeah, but it's really important to focus on the common goal. Our common goal
Mhm.
is to take care of the guests because we all are there to make money. We are all there to do a job,
Absolutely.
and we have to take care of our guests because our guests are the ones that make sure that the doors stay open and the lights stay on. So understand, setting that tone and being clear and setting clear expectations and
Mhm.
being like, yes, they all know I'm a manager and I have high standards. Setting that too. Like I'm
Mhm.
approachable, relatable, but I'm not about to just let you do whatever because I got a restaurant to run. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, do you want to, I know you said you're working on a book. Do you want to say anything about that?
Oh,
Putting on your spot?
it's definitely like on like something that I'm gonna come out with in the next couple of years. Because there's still so many more lessons for me to learn. And but I've already got like identified 16 chapters in this book. So I'm not trying to make it super long. I'm trying to just like get straight to the point because it's supposed to be a cheat code to a massively successful life. The internal work that nobody talks about. So it's a book in the making, and I'm excited to do it, but I knew that I have to write this book because I would have loved, like when I got married, I would have loved a PowerPoint or something about how hard it was going to be. Like I wanted examples, you know what I mean? So like this book is going to be examples of like, oh, so you're going through this process right now. These are some things for you to be able to do to help you get through that process. This is, you need to call a friend. You need to go outside right now. You need to stop. Don't allow for your mind to think any particular way. Keep it pushing. Like you just need to do one more day. Just one more day. Because when I was the year before I had my son in Christmas, I was very suicidal. Very, very like it and this was 2022. And I'm sorry, it was 2021. I woke up Christmas morning. I did not want to live. I just kept pushing. I kept praying. And it took me a while to walk myself out of that process and, white knuckle it. I know a lot of people don't do that. And I'm not saying everybody should do things the way that I do or anything like that, but I understand. I know what the feeling of not wanting to be here feels like. But I also know the keys to realize when I'm getting to that point. Because before I thought it happened so fast, but it's when I start to notice my serotonin and my dopamine are way too low. I haven't been celebrating my wins. I haven't been giving myself, congratulating myself for doing things. I've just been going and going. There needs to be a form of balance, whatever that balance looks like for you. And I'm not talking about, like this balance. I'm talking about, like a nice, like wave of a flow, you gotta enjoy life. And when I'm chronically stressed, that's a way that I'll get to that point. So knowing yourself is one of the bigger things in this book too. And allowing yourself to identify what your triggers are so that you can get to where you really want to go in life without losing yourself, but discovering the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to read your book.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's funny because I wrote a book in 22 and it was really about business, but how do we take better care of ourselves in business? And I would say the biggest aha in that book is if we work 24/7 and we do not give our brain a break, we cannot be creative or productive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of leaders who think just keep pushing, just keep doing everything and, not delegating because they think they can do it better and those kinds of things. And I think it was an eye opener for me at a certain point, and then it just made a lot of sense. And I think there's too many people who have been just told you just have to keep pushing and you just have to, get through it and figure it out and, all those things. And that's not always the case.
Yeah, because sometimes if you're going to just keep working like that, you legit need to take a break. Like you might have to just go outside, go on a nice little stroll, have a conversation that's not about business. Just talk to a friend, but when you're isolating and you're not wanting to do that, like when you get to that point, that's when it's hard. As soon as you start to feel that, it's like, okay, it's time. It's time to take a break, step away, and just be. Allow yourself to just be. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's more productive to just be.
It's true. Thank you, Olivia, for being here and having this conversation. I think it's going to be helpful.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, Ms. Mitchell. And, it's an honor to be on your show.
Thank you. I'm so happy you joined us for this conversation. My wish is that you found comfort and hope in your own unique situation. If you resonated with our message, please head over to therealizefoundation.org, where you can apply to write your own story in one of our books. You can also download our 60 Ideas for Self-Care on the resources page. I can't wait to hear from you. Until next time, you are not alone, you are worthy, and you are enough.